Welcome all of you, my fellow participants and members of faculty. There are some institutes from which there are students who have joined in group. Welcome to students of Akemi Business School, Pune, Wellinkers, and also a few others. And also there are a few people who are actually working from Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan who have joined. Okay, I welcome all of you. Uh, I'm sure you guys are very serious about your career. It shows when you join a webinar, which is not done by the college on a Sunday, and you are here. So welcome all of you. Okay, I'm very happy all of you are here. So today's webinar will talk about career opportunities in securities market. And I have personally been involved in the development of securities market on the forefront for about 20 years now. And I have recruited thousands of students from various campuses. Can all of you hear me? Just please type yes in chat and you can see my screen so that I know everything is fine. Okay, thank you, Rahul. Thank you. Okay, so I have recruited thousands of students from various campuses, and I thought it is good to do this program because I have always seen there is a difference between what the employers expect, okay, and especially when participants join their jobs, okay, what they expect and what your bosses expect, and how there is a gap, and this gap is significant, and it takes about 1 year to cover this gap. So if there are first year students, it's very good. If there are second year students, you still have 1 year to cover this gap. Okay, what we'll do in this session today, so we will understand the job opportunities in the securities market, and we'll see the employment problem that is there currently, how students see job opportunities, and how job opportunities in securities market actually are. Okay, and how this kind of mismatch is creating a problem, the reason why your employability is impacted, and your blind spot of skills, okay, and what you can do about it, and how we can help you in it. Okay, this is not a marketing session. We are not going to talk about ourselves as much as we are going to talk about yourself and the opportunities. Uh, People who have joined this our webinar for the first time, my name is Samir Jaiswal. I am the founder of Financial Market Leadership Institute. I am also the co-founder of a fintech company called SSBI Innovations, which is the owner of finbingo.com and taxbuddy.com. Both the products are live. I am also the founder of Algorithmics Trading. Algorithmic trading has been very close to my heart, and I have participated in its development for the last 10 years that it has been active in the Indian financial markets, stock markets. I have set up a company called algorithmics.in. We do a lot of algorithmic trading. I've also headed algo trading business for a Fortune 500 company for about 5 years as a director. And basically, we used to sell our trading applications, algo trading applications, to hundreds of buy side and sell side institutions. So I have worked in algo trading very closely. I have also worked in France on in the area of derivatives, OTC derivatives, for European Investment Bank, assisted about 100 odd brokerages, exchanges, both the depositories since its inception, and recruited thousands of management students, which gives me, because of which I'm in a position to talk in this seminar. Also, I'm very interested in academic pursuits. Last 15 years, barring the last 2 years, I have taught in SIIB, I have taught financial risk management, and 1 year I have taught in NL Dalmia, which is in Mumbai. The year that I taught in NL Dalmia, I taught financial risk management, and then Citibank came to the campus for financial risk management recruitment and recruited 18 students in that year itself. On an average, they used to recruit 2 or 3. So that is the difference, good teaching can bring, I believe. Uh, I'm also a continuous mentor for students doing PhD in foreign universities in US and Europe. Because of this book that I have published called Practical.net for Financial Markets. It has been in the curriculum of many universities worldwide. It is published in the US, so the US universities actually use it in their MS curriculum, notably University of Chicago and University of Princeton. Both of them have courses around this book. This book is about how to create a stock exchange and how to create a trading platform using .NET as a technology. I've been regularly interviewed by exchanges for their own journals and magazines, etc. So And why is this story important? This story is important because uh, I started off as a student just like you from a small town. Okay, and I came to Pune with dreams. I did my graduation from Ferguson. I did bachelor in computer science and then MBA from SIIP. That time it was called SIFT. This is my entry in the placement brochure. And these 2 years are actually students are learning a lot, and they are quite on tenterhooks as to where their career will take them to. And I now realize that good amount of planning is needed, and you need to take things in your own hands, okay, to actually be successful. Whereas what I see is a lot of students are not paying enough attention to their own career development, and at the time of placement they are disappointed. Okay, that time I was very interested in stocks, and so securities market is so close to my heart. I considered BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange, as my temple. I still do. And one very close thing that I have to my heart is I participated in an SCMHRD contest called NEEV, and there were three basically events uh, in the financial field, and I stood first in all three. So it's a small achievement, but at that point of time it was good. uh, and I thought I will mention it here. In about 6 months of working, I achieved very good results. I'm telling this because not to just talk about me, but these things are quite possible if you take your career in your own hands. Okay, in the first 6 months, CDSL was being created, Central Depository, at that point of time, and I became an IL&FS nominee on the committee that government had constituted for constructing CDSL. It was called Committee on Settlement and Tariff Issues. And the president of Bombay Stock Exchange and a lot of distinguished people sat on that committee. What it did to me was, in 6 months of passing out from college, I was sitting in the boardroom of my temple, which is Bombay Stock Exchange. I was also working on different projects for Bombay Stock Exchange, working very closely with the then BSE president Anand Rathi. Okay. Uh, NSC was recently constructed and operational, and within 6 months, I also received a letter from NSC founder Dr. R.H. Patil and their first MD. So you would expect that somebody 6 months out of college will be in a training kind of role, but with good focus on what I did, actually, it is quite possible to scale up your career in a good way. Okay, who is this session applicable to? It is applicable to everybody, regardless of your institute, including the top ones, because I keep interacting with a lot of students, and I see this kind of mismatch that you have about securities market, about what it is and where are the job opportunities, etc. So it includes the top ones. Okay, and not only in India but also globally. But globally, at least there are solutions, but there is nothing in India actually. So please pay close attention. Okay. Uh, we continuously read in the newspapers that a lot of graduates are coming out, the demographic dividend we talk of, but we also see that business leaders continuously complain that students are unemployable. Okay, and this problem is there across the board. Even people coming out from engineering colleges, management colleges, they don't exactly fit what the market needs. Okay, and this kind of mismatch you all the time see, where there are reports where business leaders say that yes, there are many people coming out, but they are not employable. Okay, or there is a skill mismatch. So I have in this presentation tried to find out the real cause. Okay, try to communicate the real cause of unemployment and poor performance. And please, my earnest request is please do an introspection. Okay, the first reason is mismatch in orientation. We'll take this up one by one in this presentation. Okay, and then mismatch of understanding of opportunities, mismatch in skills. Okay, where I believe a lot of serious upskilling is needed and right skilling is needed. Mismatch in the right efforts. Okay, students uh, take effort, but only in the areas that they are interested in, and the effort in the other areas are half-hearted. Okay, and the coverage is half-hearted, and mismatch in the opportunities that you create for yourself. Now, I have also divided this into some problem statements. Okay, so first problem that we see when we join jobs is quality of employer. Okay, you expect something which is on the left hand side. You expect that you will be absorbed on in a trading floor in a very good analyst kind of role or a trader kind of role. But what actually happens is on the right. Okay, the Indian brokerage houses or institutions, you have some perception of them, but they may not be matching your exact fit in terms of perception and in terms of right work profile. Okay, uh, we will discuss why this happens. Okay, the problem statement too. Okay, even if you get employed, every role is critical. Okay, but what is your aspiration? If a mall is being constructed, okay, or if a large airport is being constructed, there are various kinds of skills that are needed, and all of them are important, mind you. It's not that something is less important. Okay, so there is an architect who designs the airport, okay, or who designs the mall. There is a site engineer, and then there is a bricklayer. Okay, architect actually takes the responsibility of designing everything. A site engineer implements his design, and a bricklayer obviously constructs all the walls and constructs everything. So the skill and orientation that you pick up now is the most important determinant of what you will be doing 3 to 5 years or 10 years down the line. Okay, and I always say that your decisions right now will determine whether you will be in 1 crore kind of salary bracket or in 10 15 lakh kind of salary bracket after say 10 years down the line, or 20 lakh salary brackets after 10 years down the line. It's very important to make your choices very correctly. Okay, and also be very conscious and aware of how the job market is shaping up and what you need to do. Okay, problem is in financial markets, this is the Deutsche Bank, Deutsche Securities trading floor actually in Germany. The problem is that you don't know who's doing what. Okay, so you will have the head of dealing room who will earn in millions of dollars, okay, sitting here, and also a very low end accountant. Okay, and you don't know who's doing what, and the skill level and the earning level will be very different, okay, of one from the other. So here there are architects, there are site designers, site engineers, and also bricklayers. But in financial markets, you cannot really differentiate who's who. Okay, this is a very big problem. I have tried to map these three jobs in the context of financial markets. Okay, on the left there is Stacey Cunningham, okay, who's very young and dynamic, president of New York Stock Exchange. She is the current running president. And then in the middle you have a stock trader at a brokerage house, and on the right you have selling loans in car dealerships. Okay, which of these would you rather want to become after say 5 years of your job? We all know that we want to be as much as on the left of the spectrum. I see that people are raising hands. Okay, okay, I'll answer to, just 1 minute. Do you have questions? If somebody has questions, just type in the chat box. I will just try to answer it immediately. My chat box is open. Okay, no job is big or small. The only question is how it is aligned to your aspirations. A lot of students, end up in a sales kind of role, which is not bad. Actually, a lot of institutions do need salespeople also. But a lot of students come to me complaining that they have been recruited for credit card sales or insurance sales, and they wonder why they have not been recruited. Why they have not been recruited in the left side, okay, which is a stock trader or in institutions like New York Stock Exchange. Okay. Now, before I proceed further, I want to understand whether you know the difference between buy side and sell side institutions. What are buy side institutions and what are sell side institutions? Do you know the difference between the two? Can you raise your hand if anybody knows? Okay, I can see participants are raising hands, but I'm not able to see. Just 1 minute. I'm not able to see. Yeah. Now I can see. Okay, Sanket, I'm allowing you to talk. Can you tell the difference between the two? Sanket, can you hear me? Okay, I think Sanket is not talking. Abhi, can you answer?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is the difference between buy side and sell side firms?
The buy side are basically mutual funds, insurance companies,
Hmm.
or and in sell side it can be investors or analyst, sell side analyst, or institution investment bank, and can be anyone.
No, the precise difference is not clear. Okay, Vinayak, can you answer? I will of course answer, but I want you to give a try.
Yes,
Vinayak?
sir. Sir, the buy side is the people who are with a surplus of funds,
Okay.
and the sell side is the people who have deficits of funds. So they actually go for IPO or
No,
IPO.
that is also not.
And
No, that is not correct, Vinayak. Okay, Mihir, I'm unmuting you. Mihir,
Yes, sir.
can you spell out the difference between buy side and sell side?
Yes, sir. Buy-side firms are technically those investment banking firms who produce research reports for their own in-house consumption. For example, if they
No,
wish
that,
to
no,
invest their...
that is not right. That is not right.
Okay, sir.
I'll give you the right answer also. Rupam, can you try?
Sir, the investment firms or banks which take the service from the brokerage firms are on the buy side.
Hmm.
The brokerage firms are on the sell side.
Okay. Okay, I'll give you the exact difference. Okay, all of you. You know why institutions participate in the market? Okay, people who want to invest are looking out for liquidity. Okay, it's not that they only want to buy. People looking out for liquidity are institutions that buy or they want to sell also. Okay, so anybody wanting to push through a transaction who has money, who has shares, okay, people wanting to buy or sell in the market fall on the buy side. Okay, and then there are a lot of institutions that come forward to service the transaction, to make sure that the transaction gets completed. Okay, for example, the broker, okay, the exchange, the clearing corporation, the clearing member, the custodian, okay, the technology companies, the research firms. So these are all institutions that come together to complete the transaction that buy side demands. Okay, and these all institutions are called sell side. Okay, is this clear? It's not that buy side are institutions or people who have surplus funds and the others don't have, or buy side wants to buy and the sell side wants to sell. These are all incorrect definitions. Okay, the correct thing is that all the institutions that are participating in the market who want to actually buy or sell, okay, they have a liquidity need. They want to either buy securities or they want to sell securities. They want to buy gold or sell gold. They want to buy forex or sell forex. Okay, all these institutions collectively currently form the buy side. Okay, so buy side institutions are actually investment banks, mutual funds, okay, insurance companies, banks when they are participating in the market on the their bank treasury basically. Banks also fall on the sell side when they come to service the transaction. Okay, because all the fund settlement happens on the in the banking side. So banks have a dual role. So when anybody talks about buy side or sell side, please be very clear. Is this definition clear? Can you put in chat yes if you are clear about it? Okay, good. Okay, now the real culprit on employability side is how students perceive financial markets. Okay, okay, somebody has asked again, maybe I'll repeat at the end during question and answer. Okay, all of you please mute yourself. So how students perceive. Okay, somebody has asked, is Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley all sell side firms? So if you see, Goldman Sachs will actually have a lot of businesses. Okay, Goldman Sachs will have investment banking. Same with Morgan Stanley. Goldman Sachs will have an investment banking division. Okay, they will have a securities brokerage division. They will have a research division. Okay, they will have a trading floor. So Goldman Sachs, when they are buying and selling securities, for example, their investment bank, they will be on buy side. Okay, but their brokerage arm is on sell side. Okay, their research arm is on sell side because they are assisting the buy side. Okay, their custodian, Goldman Sachs is also, and Morgan Stanley are custodians in the US. So their custodian division or custodial company will actually be on the sell side. Is this clear, Madhusudan and everybody? So how students perceive their market opportunities and their job opportunities, okay? And a whole generation of students have made themselves employable or poorly employable, okay, because of skewed perception, and it is killing your approach to opportunities. And it is not the market, but our approach that needs correction. Okay, these are very strong words, but I will justify how. Okay, everybody who I meet, okay, students, they are all running towards derivative strategies. Okay, they are running towards trading, they are running towards technical analysis. It's good actually, it's not nothing, you should enhance your knowledge in all these areas. But the problem is, the opportunities, the number of opportunities and the quality of opportunities. Okay, there is a significant mismatch. For example, do you know what do traders do in these firms? Okay, so for example, if you join an uh, Indian broking house, okay, say a sell side company like IIFL or Religare or any brokerage house, there are approximately 3,000 broking companies. So you do two types of transactions. Okay, first is you do client transaction. So you take calls from the clients and you put in their orders. Okay, this kind of job actually earns you 8,000 to 12,000 rupees. Some good institutions will even pay you higher. Okay, but I'm sure this is not the kind of job that we are looking for after doing 2 years of MBA. Okay, this profile actually receives orders on the phone, and they execute orders without applying their mind. Okay, so the client says, I want to buy, say, 1 lakh shares of Infosys. You end up buying 1 lakh shares of Infosys. Okay, client says, I want to sell 10,000 shares of L&T. You end up selling 10,000 shares of L&T. So the amount of money that you get from these are actually very less. And the prospects are also getting murdered by algo, colocation, high frequency trading, etc. Okay. Of course, this is not applicable if you want to do proprietary trading. If you want to do proprietary trading, then the opportunities and the earnings and also the losses, by the way, are endless. Okay. How students perceive financial markets. When I say there is a problem, okay, this is the problem that I'm talking of. Most students divide in their mind the opportunities as, cool jobs, okay jobs, not so cool, and compromise kind of jobs. Okay. And so what is cool jobs for them? Say, for example, hedge funds, okay, investment banking, trading in equities and derivatives, equity research. These are all cool jobs. But when it comes to back office or, trade finance or corporate finance or tech companies, etc., they are not very comfortable. Okay, they don't want this kind of jobs. And all your studies and 2 years you dedicate thinking that you will get on as much as on the left hand side of the spectrum as possible. Okay, and why is this a problem? We'll come to that. How is the market broadly structured? Who are the recruiters? Okay, so you have bank, treasury, primary dealers, bond brokers. Okay, you have equity market, which is a very big absorber of talent. Then you have commodity markets. Okay, commodity markets commodity market has always been very big, but now in the last 10 years it has been formalized into electronic commodity markets. Okay, with the advent of multi commodities exchange and national spot exchange, etc., and NCDEX. Then you have a lot of buy side institutions which we all want to get into: asset management companies, hedge funds, mutual fund companies, etc. And then there are thousands of sell side institutions. Okay, there are 3,000 brokers, approximately 2,000 odd depository participants, 2 depositories. There are 9 custodians. Okay, a lot of merchant banks and whole lot of institutions that come towards creating the sell side. Okay, and then there are investment banks and fintech companies, new age fintech companies that are recruiting a lot. And then there are a lot of companies that are coming to provide service to these companies that are recruiting. For example, BPOs, KPOs, okay, research firms, a whole lot of technology companies, not only for their Indian customers, but also for their global customers, the Infosys, Wipro, Cognizant, TCS of the world. Okay, a lot of specialized companies now for KYC, onboarding, etc., which will be a very big area in future. Okay, financial planning, risk, legal. Okay, whole lot of employers are on this side, which actually fall on our blind spot. Okay, so why do I say that perception is a problem? Okay, when I say perception is a problem, what does it mean? Okay, it means that 10% of the job opportunities are actually on the left hand side, which is bank treasury, uh, private dealers, okay, FIs in dealing rooms, etc. And 90% of the jobs are in sell side institutions, exchanges, depository, the 3,000 odd brokerages. Okay, even when you talk of brokerages, there are several segments in brokerages. For example, equity brokerage, derivatives. Okay, commodities is a very big business by itself. Now there is currency futures and currency derivatives also, research firms, KPOs, tech firms, tech companies. So 90% of the jobs are on this side, whereas all our 2 years, we keep thinking about the left hand side, okay, which is joining treasury and joining dealing rooms. And we keep polishing our skills on the left hand side, okay. Whereas there is no competition on the right hand side, on the sell side. And my earnest request to you is, if you want to build a safety net and a career, please focus even on the sell side, okay. I'm not saying that you ignore the left hand side, but you also be conscious about the opportunities that which are 90%, by the way, okay, on the right hand side. Typical employment opportunities, the size here represents the job opportunities, okay. So investment banking is a very small circle. Portfolio asset management, okay, again small circle. Equity research, merchant banking, treasury and dealing room, they are all very small circles. Broker terminals, arbitrage, this red circle is actually in red because it is dying. It's not dying because the requirement has died, it's dying because of technology. In one of my assignments, I had sold 6 trading terminals, okay, to an Indian brokerage floor, trading floor, that replaced 800 people. Okay, so imagine 800 people were involved doing arbitrage, which got replaced by 6 trading terminals. Okay, so this is the ratio that I am talking of. One trading terminal today can do enough arbitrage and algos that will replace, say, 500 people. So please be very conscious of where you are putting your, where you are. Just 1 minute. There are people who have raised hands. I'll just unmute them 1 minute. Okay. Gaurav, you want to say something?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, actually, I wanted to ask, are pension funds and hedge funds also included in buy side?
Yes, of course, because they buy and sell securities for themselves. Now they are on the buy side.
Okay.
So please, all of you understand, institutions who want to buy or sell for themselves, who are looking out for liquidity, what do? They call up the broker. So broker is on sell side. They send their order to the exchange. So exchange is on sell side because exchange is trying to facilitate the transaction. In the day end, the exchange passes the trade to clearing corporation. The clearing corporation is on sell side. The settlement owner falls on the custodian and the clearing member. So custodian and clearing member is on sell side. So everybody, the shares ultimately go to the depository in his demat account, okay, in the institution's demat account. So both depository and depository participant fall on the sell side. Okay, perhaps they would have initiated this transaction because they read a research report. So research falls on the sell side. So all the institutions that come forward to service these institutions in their transaction fall on the sell side. Okay, and all institutions that do the that actually push transactions, okay, they deploy their money, they take risks, they take positions, they are all on the buy side. Okay, so,
Okay, sir.
so a brokerage prop house, okay, prop desk of brokerage, is it buy side or sell side?
Sell side.
No, prop desk is on buy side because they are investing. Okay, so please be very clear. So their role will determine whether they fall on the buy side or sell side. जो अपना पैसा लगा रहा है, पोजीशन ले रहा है, प्रॉफिट और लॉस होगा उसको डायरेक्टली, दे आर ऑल ऑन बाय साइड. Okay, institutions who come to facilitate the transaction, who don't mind if the prices go down, okay, because losses उनको नहीं हो रहा है, they are just there to service the transaction, they fall on the sell side. Okay, there are 50 odd institutions, category of institutions that will fall on the sell side. Okay, I hope I'm clear. In terms of job
Yes, sir.
opportunities, a lot of jobs on sales and relationship management side, okay, with big firms like HDFC, ICICI Securities, okay, etc. Then tech companies, they absorb business analysts in large numbers, okay, foreign KPOs, BPOs, for customer support, for research, etc. And sell side institutions, according to me, is the biggest recruiter. Okay, all these brokerage firms, commodity brokers, equity brokers, FX brokers, the depository participants, etc. They are all on the sell side. Okay, that requires skills on operations, risk, compliance, okay, processes, and you need to have a good insight of how this market functions. Okay, so this is I have tried to draw the job opportunities. I was doing some career counseling for one of the students who had done her summer internship in IIFL. Okay, she wanted to get into the dealing room of IIFL. The problem is, you know what? IIFL would have approximately 8,000 or 9,000 employees. Okay, depending on the market conditions, they keep hiring and letting people go. But on an average, if they have 6,000 people or 7,000 people as employees, only 100 will be there in dealing room. Okay, so that is the disparity that I'm trying to drive. Okay, so you really have to be very good to get into dealing rooms, and people who get into dealing rooms stay there for 5 or 10 years. Okay, because a lot of mental tenacity is needed, a lot of training is needed. So brokerage firms actually don't rotate this job. In all the other jobs, you will find job rotation, except in dealing room. Okay, in dealing room, perhaps from one asset class to second asset class, or from one category of customers, you will shift to another category of customers, but you will not be rotated anywhere. Dealing room people are very valuable, okay, and they are not rotated. So as I said, 10% of the jobs are on this side. Okay, 90% of jobs are on the other side. Okay, whereas we try to master these which are on the left at the expense of the ones that are on the right. Okay. Please mute yourself, all of you. Why this is important? This is important because you need to hone your skills according to opportunities. Okay, as I'm saying, there is no point in pursuing derivative Greeks when all the opportunities are on the operations, sales, and tech. Now, please, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you don't pursue derivatives or derivative Greeks or trading. Okay, you should do that, but you should not leave out on the other aspects. Okay, on the process side, operation side, sales, tech, etc., and pick up the right skill so that you become employable. Okay, so all of your energy is not focused in one area where the opportunities are very less. Okay, so bottom line of this is master sell side processes first, and I'll also tell you how. Okay, why this is important? Because acquiring edge of the seed skill is important, but after you have acquired the basic important skills which ensure employment. Okay, and it reminds me when we used to sit for CAT. Okay, to get into MBA, it's not that we only sat for CAT. We took other examinations also, thinking कि अगर CAT में नहीं होगा तो कहीं ना कहीं तो होगा. Okay, so this is this kind of de-risking that I'm talking of. Why this is important? Because it's a very you are trying to act like a trapeze artist, which is on the left. Okay, trying to do dangerous things, whereas the net below you leave it open. Okay, so you understand what I'm saying. So I'm saying that when there is time, please mend your nets. Okay, so that when time comes for doing this kind of trapeze artist role, okay, you will perform your best without any hesitation, with confidence. Okay. Problem statement 3. Absence of right skills. Okay. I would like to illustrate this with an example: acquired knowledge versus self-knowledge. There is a very famous story, all of you I'm sure would have heard, about Max Planck. Sometimes it comes in the name of Albert Einstein, where one day his driver said कि sir मैं आपका ना presentation देख देख के बोर हो गया हूँ, और ऐसा हो गया है कि ये quantum physics के बारे में अब मैं भी समझ गया हूँ पूरा. So Max Planck was the father of quantum physics actually. So one day the driver said that why don't you allow me to stand on stage? Okay, and I will answer to all the questions and I will also give a talk. So he said, okay. Max Planck said, okay. So driver went on stage, masquerading as Max Planck, and he gave the entire speech. And this happened many times. Then at one point of time in Germany, somebody asked a very difficult question. Okay, and not knowing the answer, his driver said, "Arey, you don't even know this much. This question even my driver can answer." Okay, and his driver was actually that day Max Planck. So he asked his driver, "Why don't you answer this?" And Max Planck answered. Okay, now obviously this story looks over the top and fake. Okay, but it drives a very important point. That important point is that you cannot run your career with acquired knowledge. You need to have your own self knowledge, and this differentiation actually is very important. Okay, your acquired knowledge, which for example the driver had, will take you only so far. Okay, when the markets are good, when everything is good, okay, your acquired knowledge will be very handy. I see a lot of people trading very well in the market. Really their skill comes out in the open when actually the market recedes. Okay, when the market falls, actually that time whoever does not lose money is actually a good trader. So this kind of you are only tested with your self knowledge perhaps 5 times out of 100. Okay, but when that test happens, you should be in a position to pass. Okay, so a lot of people survive on acquired knowledge, but it is not good. That is my point here. And right skilling, why it is most important. Okay, at FMLI we have a skill stack technology that we call. Okay, here we try to break down some 1,500 skills that we have listed down for financial markets in 3 categories. Okay, which is very important. Please understand this. At the base in green color is the core principles of financial markets. Core principles of financial markets is timeless. It will last forever. Okay, perhaps your professors want in your respective institutions want to instill in you core principles. Okay, then on top of this is financial markets infrastructure ecosystem related issues. Okay, that are transient. Okay, they will pass in about 10 years time, 20 years time. Okay, and then there are market trends, innovations and fads that change very quickly. Okay, they will perhaps change every 1 or 3 years. So I have here some examples. Okay, so core principles, for example, risk return principle. Okay, capital asset pricing model, the pricing of derivatives, the Greek of derivatives. Okay, they are all going to last forever. But our problem is that we don't even understand this. We don't understand efficient frontiers. Okay, we don't understand risk return principles. We don't understand inflation well. Okay, we don't understand PE ratios and how they impact valuations. Okay, these are things we don't understand. But we run after things which are market trade innovations and fads. Okay, things that last 10 to 30 years, ecosystem related things or infrastructure things. For example, fintech companies. Okay, fintech companies were not there in the last 5 years, but now they are everywhere. Now they are one of the biggest recruiters as well. So these are things that come, and perhaps they will go also. They will. I don't say that fintech companies will go, but perhaps they will see rapid transformation and transform into something else. Banks which were monoliths are now giving away seating space to fintech companies. Okay, digital wallets, cryptocurrencies, blockchain. Okay, they are all financial market infrastructure related issues. It's very good to understand them. Okay, but not at the cost of the timeless principles. And certainly, the third category is market trends, innovation and fads. Okay, these fads, innovation, etc., they provide the maximum monetization opportunity. For example, new apps for trading, news dissemination, new algos for algo trading, high frequency trading, DMA. Okay, all these are market trends, innovations and fads that changes every 3 years or every 2 years. So what happens is maximum students keep on concentrating here. Okay, simply because they keep reading about them a lot and they think that this is most important. But actually they are important, but not at the cost of others. Okay, so the deal with God of financial markets is that unless you focus on the core principles, you cannot innovate on the top. Okay, and we actually need people who innovate on the top. Everybody will be required to work on the top, okay, which is in innovations and market trends. But you cannot do anything much creative if you don't know the core principles of financial markets. So this is again a very big problem. Okay, I see somebody raising hand. 1 minute. Unfortunately, they don't come on top. Okay, we'll go ahead. Maybe when I open for Q&A, then you can ask. Okay, so I hope this is clear with everybody. It is clear why core principles is much more important and why it is important to, if you really want to innovate or do anything on the top, your core fundamentals have to be absolutely unshakable. Okay, if you want to get into core things, okay, so we will come to that. Okay, problem statement 4, what solve, what problem it creates. The interview panel is looking for principal and core skills. When we go for campuses, campus interviews, we want to see, one very big problem that we see is, for example, we go to IBS, okay, we get 300 CVs. Okay, now all the CVs, believe me, from a recruiter standpoint, they all look the same. Okay, some has few months of more experience than the other, but they all look the same. Okay, all of you look the same. So how the challenge is on the recruiter side. How do we differentiate between somebody who understands well and somebody who's just chasing fads? Okay, so actually our interview questions are designed in a way that in few questions we are able to understand how much water you are standing in. So please pay very today only I received a joke which is very bad actually, but it will drive the point. The interviewer asked the candidate, what is your plan? So the candidate says, sir, after this I'm going to have lunch. So the interviewer said, no, I'm talking of long-term plan. So he says, oh, long-term, I'm going to have dinner. So this is a very poor joke, but this is a fact. When we look for core principles and core skills in candidates, all they have to offer is trends and fads. Okay, they are very updated with trends and fads, but that is not what we are looking for. All these trends and fads will change in 2-3 years time, and then you will again become unemployable. Okay, so it's the core principles that we always look for. Curriculums are let down and teaching is dated, obviously. Okay, a lot of us face this problem, but that we reserve for another day. Okay, but why is it important? It's important because if you understand the core principles of financial markets and build your own core skills, what will happen is all the applications that you do with those core skills, you will be able to do very well. Okay, so if you understand core principles, for example, you can work in any fintech company. Okay, fintech companies are also divided into multiple types, so you can easily get absorbed in. So for example, if you understand credit risk or principles of credit risk very well, you can get into any fintech company that offers loans. Okay, either they are loan distributors or P2P loans, etc. But they will not touch you if you don't understand the principles of credit risk. Okay, then perhaps you will join the same fintech company, but in a support kind of role, in a client relationship management kind of role, or in a sales role. Okay, if you want to join microfinance, or if you want to join technology companies. Okay, if you don't understand these core principles, how are you going to apply in the respective areas? Okay, so then you end up relegated to a job which is of low category. Okay, so here, if your core principles is not known, you will do a dubious job in all the other areas. Okay, so it's very important to address the core. Okay, problem 6, the student has confusion on which skill is important and which is not. Okay, I see that even first year students start struggling on clarity on which side they need to brush up their skills and where to make a career. And a lot of people call me, students call me asking ki sir hum kaun sa certification kare, kya padhe? Okay, this is a very big problem. So I first tell them that you need to stop running after courses and certifications. Okay, somebody messaged me today that if I'm going to get a certificate for this seminar also, this is an information dissemination seminar. You are not going to, it's not going to upgrade your skill significantly. It's not a certification seminar. Please stop running after certifications, and please stop running after courses. Okay, don't jump into them immediately. Okay, this is because I was shocked to see there are fintech courses that are priced at 2 lakh rupees. Okay, it really pains me why somebody or an institution wants 2 lakh rupees for a fintech course. They may be very good, but what if you land a job in trading? Okay, or what if you land on skill side? Then the fintech course becomes redundant. Okay, you won't be able to utilize much. Because fintech is a fringe application, it's not a core application. It doesn't build your core. Okay, or you do a trading course but land into mutual fund distribution, or a NISM program but land into banking. Okay, this kind of mismatch is always going to be there. Okay, so it's very important that you just sit back, relax, and understand what is needed. Okay, at this point of time, I also want to tell you that at FMLI we do a lot of free career counseling. Okay, you are welcome to approach us for career counseling. If you want a session with us, it is absolutely free with no intention to sell any course, etc. You can just put your full name and mobile number. Okay, in the chat box. If you're interested, somebody will get in touch with you and will schedule a session if you're interested. But don't jump into courses immediately. First, you write down your own core skills and aspirations and do a proper gap analysis. Okay, and it's better to do this exercise at least 1 year before placement. Okay, and we can obviously help you. Please put your full name and also put your mobile number, whoever is interested in career counseling. If you don't put full name, problem is, one Amit writes I'm interested, but afterwards we see that there were 5 Amits. So we don't want to bother the other 4 Amit with messages when there was one Amit. And there are some people, who, for example, we have seen Motorola wants and a Redmi Note 7 wants career counseling. That is why we are requesting you for your mobile number and full name. Okay. Now, this kind of, when we go through career counseling, okay, this is what we do, and this is what you need to do. Okay, you need to do a skill assessment, gap assessment between what is actually needed in the marketplace and what you actually have. So, for example, I have done, this kind. I'm presenting to you data of past students that we have done career counseling for. So, for example, students have wanted to join portfolio management and asset management, but of all the data that we get, okay, this is what we see. So, for example, a portfolio manager or an asset manager, these are the skills that are needed. So, you need to know about financial market infrastructure institutions, which is buy side and sell side processes, market microstructure, knowledge of instruments, okay, pricing, risk, macroeconomics, technical analysis, some bit of technical analysis, fixed income engineering, okay, valuation and equity research. And then there are some personality traits that you need. Okay, for example, negotiation skills, because asset managers are supposed to talk to other asset managers and negotiate on bond prices or equity prices, etc. You also need tremendous analytical skills, and you need right temperament and EQ to be present in the dealing room and to be able to negotiate through the trading environment. Okay, but the ones that you see on red is actually where students have lacked. Okay, so you see, with this kind of skill mapping, you exactly know where you stand. Okay, now it's not that we do it at this level. There are some 1500 odd skills that we have listed. So every skill actually is blown up into some more, and then the some more skills are also driven down into some more. So, for example, this slide discusses about instruments. So on instruments, you need to know whether it is listed, unlisted, okay, seniority if it is debt, the price yield, okay, liquidity due to rating, issuer credentials, and many other things. Okay, and then if you talk of liquidity and impact cost and depth, then you need to know 10 different things about it. Okay, so we go down to great lengths to understand what you exactly know, and we can sufficiently guide you as to what to do depending on where you want to make a career. Okay, but one important analysis comes forward, which I'll discuss with you. Okay, so for example, treasury and dealing room, these are the skills that are needed. You need knowledge of instruments, pricing, risk, macroeconomics, and also the buy side and sell side processes. Okay, because you need to understand how the transaction is pushed, how it is completed, how all the sell side institutions come together to complete the transaction. Okay, and then managing broker terminals, because a lot of students are interested in this area. Okay, you need financial market skills, As you see, you need much lesser skills here. You need to know buy side and sell side, market microstructures, okay, arbitrage, risk, and personality traits. You don't need anything in particular that you don't have. As MBA students, most of you here are MBA students, so you already have the necessary communication skills, etc. Risk manager, high-end job, okay. I'm only talking of high-end risk management. You need good knowledge of law, knowledge of instrument risk, etc. Okay, I won't go into a lot of detail here. Perhaps we'll go through this when we actually sit down for career counseling for people who have requested. Equity research, a lot of students want to make their career in equity research, and this is what is needed. Knowledge of equity analysis. They want to do equity research, but sadly, they don't know about equity research much. Okay. Equity research, you must also be conscious of the fact that when the market downturn happens, they are the first people to be fired. Okay, so you need to be really good in your job actually to continue with what you do in all the sell side institutions. Okay, you also need business fundamentals, business modeling, and valuation knowledge to survive in equity research. Okay, now the main thing, if you want to join sell side institutions, which is brokerage firms, custodians, okay, commodity companies, all the clearing members, exchanges, etc., the skill sets that you need are dramatically lesser. Okay, you only need to know financial market infrastructure, which is buy side and sell side. Because they don't invest, you don't need to know anything about derivatives pricing, about derivatives Greeks, about valuation, about pricing. You don't need to know any of that. Okay, and you need to have a good knowledge of instruments, because all these institutions invest in some instruments or the other. So you need to have a good knowledge of mutual funds. You need to have good knowledge of private banking, okay, of equity, of commodities, etc. And of course, you need to have good communication skills and process skills. Okay, but you see the skill set that are needed is dramatically lesser. Okay, somebody asked me how to get into technology companies as business analyst. Again, biggest recruiter, and you see the skill sets that they need are much lesser. Okay, so you need to understand financial market infrastructure, buy side, sell side, etc. And you need to have knowledge of instruments. And of course, you need to know all the processes, and you need to have reasonably good communication skills. Again, communication skills I'm discounting because all of you already have good communication skills by virtue of doing your MBA. Okay, I would assume that all of you are good in communications. Private banking and wealth management, financial market skills. Again, you need to know, very less as compared to a dealing room or a asset management or a risk kind of profile. Okay. Sales and relationship management, you need to know very less. But what I want to drive is you should be at least pakka in this. Okay, so even if you get a relationship management role, perhaps you land into a JP Morgan or a Morgan Stanley, okay, rather than landing into a low end firm or selling credit cards or insurance. Okay, so what comes across? It seems that financial market infrastructure and the knowledge of processes of how these institutions work, okay, come and appear again and again. Okay, and this is what actually is surprising, that when we go for interviews, we ask for this. Okay, and students actually don't know this, whereas this we consider as the safety net. Okay, what does this contain? This contains the principles, construction, design, and interrelationship of exchanges, brokers, market makers, members. Okay, how the transactions are pushed. All of us have traded using Zerodha as a platform or ICICI Direct as a platform. But do we understand what happens when you put an order? How risk management is done once your transaction is through? How the exchange handled your orders, how it converted into a trade, how matching happened. Okay, how trade was reported to you, how it was cleared, how it was settled, etc. How clearing corporation came forward, how depository participant came forward, where are your shares. Okay, these things we simply don't understand or have very vague understanding. Okay, whereas according to me, this is something that everybody for all roles you must understand. You must also understand that if you want to get into technology companies, this is a must. Okay, because who are the clients of technology companies and who do they work for? They work for large investment banks, exchanges, clearing members, okay, the Morgan Stanleys and Goldman Sachs of the world. So TCS will have all these as customers. But if you don't understand how these processes happen and what precisely these institutions do and how do they go about doing their stuff, then you are simply elbowed out of the job. Okay. Perhaps equity research is the only area that doesn't need this kind of knowledge. But then, equity research is a very small area. I see Sanket has raised his hand. 1 minute. Sanket, go ahead. Hello, Sanket. Okay, so I think there is some technical issue. So this program, okay, this knowledge alone enables you to pitch for 70-80% of the jobs. Okay, this is the safety net all of you must have. And this is also a must if you want to have leadership career in financial markets. Okay, all of you, for example, if you join in an operations role or if you join in a trading role, I'm sure you want to be head of operations or head of dealing room rather than actually a dealer taking client orders. Okay, maybe in the first 1 or 2 years, you will also end up taking client orders. But then 2-3 years down the line, you may want to head the dealing terminal, okay, sorry, dealing room or the trading floor. Okay, but you don't get these jobs simply because you don't have this knowledge. And sadly, there is no book. Okay, and you'll be surprised, there is no curriculum there is that addresses this, not only in India but anywhere in the world. Okay. Now, a lot of students do NISM certification on mutual fund distribution and derivatives and depository, etc. I'm not against it, but please realize the quality of it. Okay, it is like an ITI diploma in financial markets, which is meant for mass and rapid deployment. Okay, whereas by virtue of doing MBA, especially if you are in a good college, you are already doing an MTech equivalent program. So you are doing an MTech equivalent program in your post graduation, whereas you end up doing an NCFM program or NISM program, which according to me is an ITI diploma equivalent in financial markets. Okay, you get recruited as a mutual fund salesperson or an insurance salesperson, or maybe in operations. Okay, NISM has introduced that as an industry standard. We think it's industry standard simply because you ought to know something to join the operation side. And the problem was that students coming out of colleges did not even know even this. Okay, so a basic minimum qualification was created or a basic minimum exam was created, but please don't take that as something that will give you a long-term career. Okay, but I have gone through NISM long-term program. Their residential programs are absolutely fabulous. Okay, and nothing against them. They are doing a very good job. But please understand that their certification programs, the short-term programs, are very, very shallow. Okay, it will not take you anywhere. Now, I have tried to also put things in this slide, which is very important. So as students, we have confusion as to what we do, what should we do? Okay, what skills should we pick up? Or kaun sa course kare? Okay, to answer this question of kaun sa course kare, we have to step back and see what skills are essential, what domain of skills are essential, okay, which you need to have, which you must have, and then what are good and what are secondary skills. Okay, I would rather term these as primary skills and secondary skills. Primary skills are the skills that you need to have before you pass out of the college. Okay, these are the core skills in the FMLI skill stack that we talked of. Okay, so what are the core skills? So principles and financial market architecture, according to me, is core skill. Okay, almost 2/3 of the main skills that we talked of or that we have listed fall in principles and architecture of financial markets. Okay, this is a term you will not find anywhere. We have coined this own term, but broadly you understand what we are talking of. And if you don't understand, I'll be happy to share the details. Okay, then so you should do this program. You should focus on this simply because everything else is built on top of this. Okay, and if you don't understand this, then you will collapse and your entire skill set will collapse. Okay, and then you should do one of these. Okay, so for example, if you want to get into understanding of trading and instruments, you should understand equity research, or if you want to become a trader, then you should understand trading engineering, psychology, and technical analysis. Okay, one of these you should do, or perhaps you should do both of this. Okay, and then there is one slanted bar that I have. Okay, you should do this also, which is global understanding of derivatives. Now, it cuts both. This derivatives bar is actually lying down slanted because it touches asset management also in a very big way. and it also touches trading. So you cannot get into trading, okay, simply by not knowing derivatives. Only knowing equities will not take you there, okay. Only by knowing equity research will not take you there. Only by knowing technical analysis will not take you there. Okay, you need to have a thorough understanding on the principles and architecture of financial markets, and you need to build on top of this. Okay, and these are the areas that you need to build on. So what happens to asset management, fintech, investment banking, and merchant banking? I say that these are all derived skills, okay, and these are secondary skills. You can learn on the job, and you can learn with ease if your 1, 2, 3 is taken care of. Okay, so I hope this solves in your mind where you should focus on. Okay, and this kind of builds the bottom bar itself builds kind of safety net which will enable you for 80 to 90% of the jobs. If you know principles and architecture of financial markets, functioning of exchanges, functioning of clearing corporations, functioning of brokers, okay, market microstructure, how they come together, how straight through processing happens, how transactions are pushed, okay, then you are safe to join any tech company. You are safe to join 80-90% of the sell side business opportunities. To address the remaining buy side opportunities, you need to have a knack of trading, of equity research, etc. So these are also skills that you can build on. Okay, investment banking, asset management, fintech, merchant banking, they are all derivatives of the skills that you pick from here. Okay, so please be conscious of this. Okay, if you have any problems, please get in touch with us. We'll be happy to guide you. Okay, so what this is essentially doing, this is an open heart surgery of these skills. So what is equity research? It is essentially separation of understanding of good versus bad in financial markets. What is good, what is bad, what is good behavior, what is bad behavior. Okay, what is the good things that a trader must possess, what are the bad things. So it's a differentiator. Okay, and trading and technical analysis, okay, or market, so it teaches you market microstructure, okay, how to read the markets, how to read the pulse of the market, and nuances of trading. Okay, how to negotiate with other brokers, how to see liquidity, okay, how to assess whether this is a good time to trade or no. Okay, derivatives, what is it going to do? Your complete understanding of derivatives trading, risk and settlement. Okay, and when I say principles and architecture of financial markets, it is essentially complete understanding of capital markets and securities market, including processes. Okay, processes is very important. Okay, Kaustubh has asked, sir, what comes in the principle and architecture of financial marketing? In the principles and architecture, basically you get to learn why these exchanges are designed this way. Okay, what are the global models in which clearing and settlement happens? What are the global models in which exchanges are designed? For example, exchanges globally are order-driven exchanges, code-driven exchanges, and hybrid exchanges. Okay, brokerages, how do they function? How do dealing rooms function? Okay, what do they look for? So if you don't understand these, you are handicapped and you don't understand 80 to 90% of the things which matter. Okay, and you end up chasing things that do not matter. Okay, fintech as of now does not matter. If you don't have understanding of this 1, 2, and 3, fintech does not matter. Okay, so don't run after 2 lakh courses of fintech, etc. is my point. As a fresher, then Amar has asked if 1, 2, and 3 are clear. If 1, 2, and 3 are clear, Amar, you are safe and you are good for 80-90% of the jobs. In fact, then you can build on the other skills also. Okay, provided 1, 2, 3 are clear. As a fresher, now this MI phone is asking, okay, technology is talking to me. As a fresher, what are the skills required to get into financial markets? My take is, principles and architecture and derivatives is needed. And one of these, okay, which is equity research and skill of trading. If you have both, then good. Okay, so these 2, 3, 4 things are needed basically, and all the others are mix and match. Lego toys, okay, how you build Lego, you build a fort, okay, or you can build an aeroplane using basic building blocks. So I see fintech as a clear example of an application that is built on top of this. Okay, investment banking is built on top of this. Please don't jump into a course of investment banking and don't get into course of fintech. So whether fintech covers all these, CFA covers all these topics? No, they don't cover. Okay, CFA is Chartered Financial Analyst. It addresses on the buy side. It addresses on making investments. Okay, CFA is a very good course. The only problem is it is very long. Okay, and it only takes care of buy side institutions. Again, my this thing is my contention is that 80-90% of the job opportunities are on sell side. Okay. So again, I have tried to rearrange this slide to make it more clear. The one on the left is very important. You need to have, understand global equity research. Sorry, I have listed this as certification in global equity research, certification in trading, because these programs we provide, but the intention is not to market our courses. Okay. And the ones, if you have the ones on the left, you can build something extra and derive something which are on the right. Okay. That is what I want to drive. Gautam has raised his hand. 1 minute, let me see. Gautam, you can talk. Sorry, no. I have not been able to unmute you. Okay, somehow this is clumsy. Okay, I'll go ahead. So for example, this slide I have put up on fintechs in the loan space. Okay. Now just see how many fintech companies are there. Okay. And my clear message to you is that you don't need a course in fintech. Okay. They all survive. I'm myself a founder of a fintech company. Okay. I'm the CEO of a fintech company. I know exactly the skills that are needed. Okay. If your primary skills are good, okay, you are easily employable. Please don't run after fintech programs. Now here a disclaimer I want to make, that we have a course in fintech also. Okay, so please don't come back and please don't say that, on one side he was saying that you don't need a course in fintech, whereas he's himself running a course in fintech. Okay, we do a course in fintech to people who really want, and a lot of people we train who have already joined fintech companies. Okay, and they come to us for a quick learning, so we do train them. But from an MBA finance perspective, it's very good to have knowledge of this. Okay, so for example, government issued guidelines and regulations on P2P lending. You cannot survive if you don't need those, if you don't know these guidelines. Okay, maybe somebody will ask you in the interview itself. Okay, but please understand that I categorize that again as an ecosystem thing or a trend and fact. These are not core skills. Okay, these guidelines are something today, it will be something else tomorrow, but the principles are very important. You need to first know them. Okay, so how to get leadership roles? Okay, this is where, okay, I'm interested to do a course on fintech. Please, anybody interested to do a program, this is not the forum. Okay, you can get in touch with me in chat. I will give my number also at the end. This is where FMLI comes in. Okay, we are at war to get students up to standards, up to global standards, with the right kind of employment. Okay, and we know that we know for sure that careers are carefully crafted. Okay, if you don't craft your careers with your own hands, okay, it's going to be very difficult. Okay, and how to deliver the best in the world to Indian students so that you can compete globally. This is what we have been doing. Okay. This is something that we did in 2016. We did a talent search contest. Okay, just some small trivia. We did a financial market talent search contest. It also appeared in the Business Standard newspaper and Economic Times. I'm putting one of them here. Okay, about some 80 management colleges participated. Some more than 300 students participated, and we finally held this physically in NL Dalmia auditorium because I was teaching that year there. Okay. Now, one very important thing. Okay, I have tried to explain this with an orbit. What happens is there are very few people who can design institutions. Okay, so for example, if I ask you to construct an exchange or create a brokerage house, okay, can you, for example, today Piramal Broking, Piramals don't have a broking company. Okay, can you go to Piramals and pitch to them that you can start a broking firm for them? Can you, for example, start an institution from scratch? Do you know the underlying principles and exactly what is needed, okay, to start an institution, to design it, architect it? Remember the architect example that I talked of. Okay, so professionals who design institutions are actually in thousands. Okay, and then after the institutions get designed, there are very few people who actually lead these institutions. collectively in India, there will be thousands of leaders, okay? But every institution will have 8 to 10 leaders, even if you talk of very large institutions, okay? But these are obviously after the institution gets designed, okay? And then there are professionals who run these institutions. And then there are professionals who work for people who run these institutions, okay? For example, sales head, business heads are people who run these institutions. They are also at senior levels, okay? And then they will have lakhs of salespeople. An HDFC Bank or HDFC Securities or ICICI Securities will have thousands of salespeople, okay? So where do you exactly fit and where do you see yourself? Okay, this is very important. So if you see yourself in, for example, a sales kind of profile or profile which is in the outer orbit, it is fine, okay? But our conscious, effort should be to come as core in the center as much as possible, okay? And it is our mission to pull you as much as inside the core as possible, okay? On the trading side, a lot of, so for example, when I say core skills, okay, what do I mean? This is again very important. If you are seeing this from a mobile, then you will perhaps not be able to understand. Okay, so on trading side, an average skill which everybody will be able to pick up eventually is understanding the importance of price. Okay, but highly desired and valued skill is actually understanding the price discovery process, how exchanges actually function and how the price discovery happens in a marketplace. But actually leadership skill is ability to create a system for an efficient price discovery, okay? If you are sent to a new market, for example, if you are deputed in a market that does not exist, okay? For example, coal exchanges coming up, can you create a platform where efficient price discovery of various grades of coal can happen? Okay, this is a leadership skill, okay? And this is this kind of skill that we talk of. This is the kind of skill that will take you to the core of the institution, okay? Again, a skill that many will pick up working on an app for trading, okay? So a lot of people will get involved in working on apps, okay? But this is not a core skill. A desired skill is managing the whole process of trading skill and settlement, okay? But a leadership skill is creating an exchange, okay? Can you, an app for trading, a lot of people can create, but can you create an exchange where, these apps, very recently we heard that direct market access for retail will be opened. What does it mean? It means that trading will now go from the domain of brokers into the domain of exchanges. Now exchanges will immediately need trading platforms, which they will be then in turn distributing to the retail customers. So they will obviously need an agglomeration of apps, okay? Not one app, but a whole range of features, okay, in various apps, which brokers in turn will distribute. So the skill that is needed for this kind of role is very different, okay? So we have classified, I will not go into every skill, okay, but we have classified these skills into skills that eventually everyone will pick up, okay, skills which are highly desired and valued, and leadership skills, okay, that we can give you, okay? For example, skill that everybody will pick up is knowing option trading and perhaps trading in strategies, okay? If you join a dealing room, you can do that. But highly desired skill is calculating risk and understanding settlement of options. Simply because if you don't understand the risk that your trading position will open and how settlement is going to take place, you will not even be allowed to put in your first trade in the dealing room. Okay, so regardless of how well you know options trading, if you don't understand the risk on the option side and the settlement on option side, you cannot even do your first transaction. Okay, whereas the leadership skill that I'm talking of is creating a market where options can be traded and settled risklessly. Okay, a real leader will be able to create a market where options can be traded and also be seamlessly settled. Okay, so this is the differentiation of skill that I'm talking of. So another example, skill that eventually many will pick up, finding a market maker to trade with. Then highly desired skill is somebody who can become a market maker and provide sufficient liquidity in the market. But leadership skill is actually creating an exchange where market makers are not needed at all. Okay, this is actually a desired skill, a highly desired skill. Similarly, on the risk and set, so another example, a skill that everybody will pick up is profiting from market fluctuations. Highly desired skills is using algorithmic trading. Okay, and leadership skills is actually to be able to write your own algos. Okay, if you're able to write your own algos, then as seasons change, you are not dependent on your software vendor or any technology provider or algo service provider. You can write your own algos, and this is a core leadership skill. Okay, buying algo trading software for your organization is skill that eventually many will pick up, but creating a complete algo infrastructure for your broking firm or for your buy side firm, okay, is a highly desired skill. But leadership skill is creating exchange infrastructure for algo trading, where thousands of sell side institutions and buy side institutions can come forward, and millions of traders can come forward, and you can enable everybody to trade. That is a leadership skill. Okay, similarly, we have bifurcated skills on risk and settlement side also, but in paucity of time, actually, in the interest of time, uh, we will skip this. So one example I'll take here, skill that eventually everybody will pick up. You'll be able to shorten the settlement cycle in your firm that you work for. So you work for JP Morgan on the sell side, brokerage side. You will be able to understand the settlement process, and you'll be able to improve it, maybe incrementally or significantly. Okay, but skill which is highly desired is if you can implement straight through processing, use technology and implement STP. But a leadership skill is doing the exact same thing using blockchain, okay, and removing all these intermediaries altogether. I traveled to Australia recently for some meeting with the Australian Stock Exchange. Okay, their clearinghouse and depository is now fully on blockchain, and all the problems that we have on the settlement side, on the risk side, are actually not there. They have been already addressed using blockchain as a technology. Now, if you are able to lead there, okay, then that is a core leadership skill that you can have. Okay, again, coming back to my contention that no job is big or small. The only question is how it is aligned to your own aspirations. Okay, on the left you have people who work for exchanges and perhaps lead them. Then you have stock trader and brokerage, and then you have people who are selling loans at dealership. I see participants raising hands. Please put your questions in the chat so I can read and I can answer them. Okay, how we are addressing this? We are providing very important courses in all of these areas, and perhaps in these areas, I'm not, this is not an understatement. We are perhaps world's best in these areas, sitting here in India itself. But then this program is not about marketing. I will not talk about own programs. Perhaps that I'll leave for some other day. Okay, if we talk of the world of trading, for example, a lot of you want to make your career in trading, but do you know that there are specific skills that are needed? Okay, people focus on technical analysis, but then without trading engineering, without the knowledge of trading psychology, without the knowledge of market architecture, market microstructure and architecture, and without the knowledge of algorithmic trading, you will not be in a position to join a dealing room, or you will not be in a position to make a meaningful role there. So I get a lot of queries from students asking if we teach technical analysis. Yes, we do teach technical analysis, but we don't teach it only as technical analysis, but we also have we dovetail it with trading engineering, because if you don't know how orders are displayed, how liquidity is displayed, how to grab liquidity, the games people play, okay, what are the order types, how to negotiate with counterparties electronically, you are not going to survive as a technical analyst. You are not going to survive in dealing room. And to have right kind of psychology, okay, is very important, especially if you are a solo trader. Okay, these are the skills, for example, that you need to survive. The left one is for dealing room. Okay, the right one is for prop trader, especially if you're a solo trader. Okay, trading psychology you need to master. The middle one, technical analysis, is needed by everybody. Okay, especially prop traders, you need to know technical analysis. But my point that I want to drive is only technical analysis will not take you, will not make you successful in dealing. You need dealing room. You need to have a whole rounded knowledge of trading, dealing room, etc. Okay, one piece of trivia here. In the end of August, okay, please save your date. We are doing a boot camp, a very interesting program on trading and algos orientation boot camp. This is for stocks and derivatives. Okay, unfortunately, we do a lot of such programs with dealers in dealing rooms and young brokers, traders, prop traders, etc. but this was hitherto not available for students. But this workshop we are doing for students as well as for young participants who are already working in brokerage firms and buy side firms, to make them more aware of trading and algos. And why we are restricting it to 3 days, and why we are not offering a 1 month program. We are offering a 1 month program like all our other programs also, but we are restricting that to only people who have already joined dealing rooms. Okay, if you have not joined dealing rooms, then this is a good knowledge to have, but this is not an essential knowledge to master. Okay, only if you know that you are going to use this skill should you come back and master. Okay, but it is very important from a leader perspective to know the issues involved in trading and how algos are functioning, and to take a deep dive in this, which I thought that 3 evening and 1 morning session is enough for this. Okay, so this is a very interesting thing. I will send all of you invite. My request is everybody who's interested in trading and even otherwise, okay, please attend. These type of programs you will find in Europe and US, but they will be priced $2,000, $3,000. Okay, that is not the kind of thing that we want to do. We charge a lot for what we do, not a lot rather. We charge, this is a paid program when we do for the dealing rooms, etc. For students, we have kept a minor charge of 99 rupees. Okay, just to show your, we only want to attract the right kind of people. But my sincere request is it's a 4 session program, 2 to 3 hours every session, and it's a very good program to have. So please attend. Okay, this is what we are going to cover. Just I need a minute. I need to get my charger. Please go through this yourself. I'll be back in a minute. One minute, guys. Okay. This is what we are going to cover in this. Okay, all are very, very essential to know from reading perspective. Okay, so I request all of you to be in touch and please attend. Please save the date. Please don't take up any other thing during this boot camp. Okay. Now, principles and architecture of financial market infrastructure. I talked of it as a mandatory program. Okay, we offer this program. It exactly focuses on what the market needs and doesn't get. Okay, and it gives complete clarity on essentials. Again, I'm not going to talk about these things. I don't want to do marketing of course. Okay. Perhaps if you need, I can send you the brochure if you're interested. But why this program, something like this is important? Okay, you need not come to us, but you can of course build these skills by yourself. Okay, why I'm again and again driving this? For example, this is the core skill that is needed everywhere. Okay, so for example, I'm taking some examples. So order aggregation in exchanges. If you know how millions of people come together and how their orders are managed by the exchange and how they are queued, etc., you can very well work in e-commerce platforms because they are all order aggregators. Okay, their use case may be different, but the skills and the technology that is needed is it's very similar to order aggregation of exchanges. Okay, they are also solving the same kind of problem. And an exchange receives thousands of orders, rather lakhs of orders every minute. And the same is the case with Amazon and Flipkart. Okay, so how do they manage their orders? How do they queue them? How do they sort which are the small orders, which are the big orders? Okay, and how they go about executing them is very well the entire e-commerce aggregation platform. In fact, we had done consulting for them, okay, for the major platforms, and it is built on top of the same kind of logic and same kind of principles that is used for order aggregation in exchanges. Okay, then there are several fintech platforms which do bill discounting. Okay, so if you are a there are now fintech companies that allow SMEs and vendors of say Maruti or Tata Steel, etc., to upload their bills. Okay, and they provide finance against it, so that you don't have to wait for the full credit period of 90 days and you can get your money immediately. And eventually when Maruti or Tata Steel pays, then the money is given back to the lender. Okay, this model is also built on order aggregation on the exchange side. Okay, so how, one core skill is applicable in e-commerce aggregation as well as bill discounting platform. Okay, then what does exchange do? Okay, one problem that is solved is it builds a market where millions of unknown, non-trusting people, in fact, leave alone trust, people don't know each other. Okay, they come forward and they trade. Okay, so lot of surveillance, risk management, and margining, etc., is built. Okay, so that they are built to manage this risk, where millions of people who don't know each other can come together to build a marketplace. Fintech companies are also doing this. Okay, P2P companies are also doing this. Okay, somebody has asked for my phone number 720-896-7050. I have put my phone number in chat. Okay, this is a WhatsApp number, you can WhatsApp me. Then order matching algorithm. Okay, all the order servicing and order matching is actually, as I said, utilized in Amazon and Flipkart and Snapdeals of the world. Market making and liquidity enhancement tools. Okay, direct application you will find in fintech and distribution networks. Okay, and also in microfinance companies, these principles are applicable. Global clearing and settlement models, if you know, okay, for example, how does delivery versus payment work? How does RTGS work? Okay, how does NEFT work? How securities settlement globally, how US markets and Australian markets settle in a very different way as compared to India. What are the pros and cons of both? How will Indian clearing and settlement evolve? Okay, and how fast can it catch up the US model? Is US model best? If you know how globally clearing and settlement happens, then you can implement it in fintech companies. Please don't expect the other way around, that you will join fintech companies and then you will come to know about this and then you will perhaps come back to the principal concept. It will not happen this way. Reverse flow will not happen. Okay. On blockchain side, I have put my interview which Bombay Stock Exchange had taken recently, about 3 years back, where I talked of the future of trust in financial markets. Okay, and my argument was that all the trust-based institutions, for example, banks, custodians, okay, they will vanish in a few years when blockchain takes over. And the biggest implementation of blockchain is going to happen in financial markets. Okay, and a lot of countries have already taken it forward. So you need to know these are the core skills. Okay, if you know these core skills, then you can apply this in many areas. Okay, again I come back to this slide. If you know the core skills, then you can get into the center, which is a professional who design institutions. Okay, then we also have a program on trading psychology, engineering, and technical analysis. Okay, it's a very well-rounded program. It doesn't only talk of technical analysis, it takes care of other aspects also. Okay, if you have derivatives in mind, we offer the world's best course in derivatives. Okay, believe me, you will not find a better program anywhere. And this is a 1 month program, part-time program, 1 or 1.5 hours every day. Okay, and why is it the best program? That why do I say it's the best program? Because it does not focus only on trading. Okay, there are a whole lot of things on risk side and whole lot of things on clearing and settlement side on derivatives that you need to know. For example, the entire risk management in derivatives in India and 33 exchanges globally is done by an algorithm which is developed by Chicago Mercantile Exchange, okay, which is called SPAN, Standard Portfolio Analysis. Now, if you join a brokerage firm or a buy-side firm and your boss says, boss, please go and reconcile the margins that the exchange or clearing corporation has reported. If you don't know SPAN, how are you going to reconcile? And believe me, I see this every day. Students come in and they don't know about SPAN. They have not even heard about SPAN. And they claim that they have done courses in derivatives, etc. But if they don't know risk management, you will not be allowed to put in your first transaction itself. Okay, you will fail in the first step. So a whole lot of emphasis we put on the risk side and also on the settlement side. We also provide trading terminals on which you can put in these orders. You can do mock trading and you can these SPAN software, etc., and settlement software. Okay, we actually train you on these applications that you will use on day one when you join. Okay, we call it as FMLI live markets. Okay, why I make this pitch, okay, of everything together, these 3-4 programs together, is because the leadership aspects that institutions look for actually comprise of these skills, okay, whereas it's a very far cry of what students pick up, okay. For example, the entire EU MIFIR and US UK's MIFID 2 program, which is Market in Financial Instrument Directive, is all about taking opaque OTC derivatives and clearing it through clearing and settlement platforms like the clearing corporation. Now, if you don't understand clearing corporations, or if you don't understand OTC derivatives, how are you going to make a pitch for financial, global financial market careers? My point is they are all interconnected. Okay. The trolls of job market. This is the kind of job markets that I see. I get completely pissed off. If you have a laptop or smartphone, then you can make 20,000, 24,000 daily. Okay, what is being offered today? Whereas I'm very clear what is the kind of skill set that we want to build. Okay, so for example, these two news items came up very recently. SEBI wants for corporate bonds to trade on stock exchange platform like stocks. Okay, and there is plan afoot for India's first coal exchange. Now, if a coal exchange is announced or SEBI wants to create a new trading platform, do you have the right skills? This will open up a whole market by itself. Okay, like equities, like commodities, there is going to be a separate coal exchange. So it will have thousands of brokers. It will have clearing members. It will again, involve the trading, clearing, settlement process. Okay, and a whole lot of sell-side institutions will come forward to service buy side. Are you ready with your skill sets to take to grab these jobs? Okay, these are the kind of jobs that you should be focusing on. Okay, our promise to you, your hurdle will become much easier, placements will be easy, right kind of job profile, and most important is career growth will be faster and satisfactory. Okay, we offer a full refund of fees. We will not talk of our own this thing. And I already spoke of free career counseling and sessions. Okay, if you need career counseling, then we'll be happy to provide. This is my number. With this, I close this program. Okay, it's already 1.5 hours. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand or put it on chat. I hope this was useful for you. If it was useful for you, please put yes in the chat box. Okay, thank you guys. I am highly available. Okay, for anybody, I promise, response in 5 minutes time. If you have any questions, okay, I am open to it. Okay, I see that Yatanveer has raised his hand. 1 minute. Yatanveer, you can talk. Yatanveer, can you hear? Okay, somebody has asked, if not NCFM and NISM, which programs? Okay, NISM and NCFM you should do because it's a good starting point. Okay, but you should not limit yourself there. Can mutual funds be a good area to approach for job? Yes, mutual fund is a good area. Okay, see what happens in India. Actually, we follow advanced markets like US, Europe. Okay, what has happened in Europe 10 years ago will happen in India. And if you see what has happened in US is the mutual fund market is 5 or 6 times the size of traditional saving market or equity market. Okay, so that same thing is going to happen in mutual fund in India also. So yes, mutual funds you should pursue. It's a very good space to be in. Okay, how good are NIFM and NCFM courses? They are good, but according to me, they are not sufficient. I rate them as equivalent of an ITI in financial markets. Okay, so you must do something else also. CFA is a good program. FRM is a very good program. Okay, but FRM is too mathematical. CFA is a very good program, but it takes minimum 3 years to complete CFA. Okay, what we have tried to do is we have tried to plug these gaps. Okay, and the 4-5 programs that we offer, we try to be world's best in this. Okay, you can. 3 months ago, I was, I was in a separate seminar where I told them there were people from Harvard. So I told them that obviously, we cannot be what Harvard is, okay, because of its 100 years of hard work. But what we teach and the programs we take, even Harvard doesn't have and doesn't take. Okay, it's not an understatement. You need to go through it to believe it. Now there are other questions. Sir, can you elaborate? 1 minute. what is the best way to study or gain in-depth knowledge? Books, YouTube. See, the books are very good. Okay, problem with YouTube is that you find too much of information and you don't know which is correct and which is not correct. Incidentally, I signed into Udemy and took one Udemy program on investment banking because I wanted to pick up some things, okay, which I was finding missing elsewhere. So in that Udemy program, immediately it said that IPO takes about 6 month process. Okay, now problem with such kind of platforms is that you cannot go back and ask. And IPOs in India take only 6 days. In India, IPO process is very efficient. SEBI has made it very efficient in the last 3 years. Okay, and nowhere does it take such short time as it is in India. So the problem with Udemy and these kind of learning platforms is that it's only one way and you cannot even ask. And they don't assess you what you need. Okay, they give what they want to give. Okay, Shubham, I'm allowing you to talk. Shubham, are you there? Okay, Tanay has raised his hand. Tanay, are you there? Kaustubh, are you there?
Uh, Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, sir, what should I do to get a job as a quant or a quant profession, into a quant profession?
For quant, you want quant kind of role or you want with quant broking house?
Sorry, no, quant kind of role.
Okay, for quant kind of role, there are, okay, quant has 2 or 3 applications in India. Okay, you can become a quant with an insurance company, or you can become a quant with a algo trading company. Okay, or companies that do very high-end bond trading. So basically, bond engineering and mathematics is very important for quant. We offer that also as a 1-month program. Apart from bond engineering, you need to understand insurance very well. Okay, because if you want to get recruited in an insurance firm, if you don't understand principles of insurance, okay, you will not be able to get in. So for insurance, according to me, NIA is the best academy for insurance. Okay, but unfortunately, NIA does not take students from outside. So it is kind of a roadblock there. If you ask me about specific skills, you need to have very good fixed income engineering skills, and you need to know insurance. Okay, these 2 are must have. And then there are other skills, for example, valuation, pricing, etc., that are also needed. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, sir. Sir, so for if I only want to get into equity markets as a quant, so I don't need, I need to gain information on fixed income engineering.
Yes, fixed income, and even in algos. For example, I had an algo company also. We use lot of quant skills to design our algos. Okay. My sincere request is, join our the algo bootcamp. Okay, it will give you a very good insight on how quant skills are used there. Okay, there are 3-4 categories of algos. Most of the algos that prop traders use, okay, the high-end algos there actually involve quant. Okay, quant is a good place to start if you have good mathematical skills, simply because it demands all the other skills also. Okay, so if you start, for example, if you start working in algo trading, you need to know market microstructure, you need to know how orders are pushed, you need to know how transactions are happening. Okay, so you automatically get to, I mean, the field itself demands that you need to know many things.
Sir, can I ask you a last question?
Yes.
What are the books that you recommend me to get started in this field?
See, there are many books. Okay, you please connect with me offline. You have my number on this slide. Okay, not only can I recommend you books, I can send you some ebooks as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We'll connect to you.
Okay. Is efficient, so Tanay has asked, is efficient market hypothesis a core skill? Yes, it is a core skill. Efficient market hypothesis is definitely a core skill. Okay, what is the scope of improvement for Indian stock market? Gaurav has asked, what are the scope of improvement for Indian stock market? Okay, if you're talking of market improvement, again, you need to, I'm coming back again and again to financial markets infrastructure. Okay, Basel Committee of Banking Supervision has recommended Okay, they have their own guidelines on principles of financial market infrastructure and how every market should be designed and implemented and how processes should take place. They don't go down in processes, but design of institutions. One very important piece that is missing in the markets today is a trade repository. Okay, we do all this in our program. A trade repository is nothing but market data of all derivative transactions and all bond transactions. Okay, so if you want to calculate, for example, if you're doing an OTC derivatives and if you want to calculate the price of derivatives, you may want to understand what the prices of previous transactions have taken place without knowing the counterparties. Okay, so this kind of information you can come to know through trade repositories. A simpler example I will give is, if you want to buy property in an area, what do? You try to find out the prices of all transactions or property value of all transactions that happened recently in that same area. Okay, so this kind of information you can get from the sub-registrar's office, or government also publishes one ready reckoner rate, etc. So if you want to do the same kind of pricing and if you want reference of transaction, you need to have a trade repository. But India doesn't have a trade repository. India gradually evolved and had a depository in place. Okay, although we were very successful in depository implementation, today 90% of our shares, more than that, is actually in the depository. Okay, so there is still a lot of improvement that the market has to go through, but I cannot tell you that unless you start understanding the basic things in the market itself. Okay, so my first contention is that you start from there. Our architecture program, Principles of Financial Market Architecture program, is a 1 month program, 1.5 hours every day. Okay, and we charge 5,000 rupees with a money back offer. Okay, you can, if you are interested, you can just WhatsApp me and I will be happy to share the brochure. Okay, when and what time to contact you? Okay, you can contact me anytime you want. These days, we are all working from home, so it's very easy. Roshni has asked, after completing MSc Finance, what are the job opportunities available? Roshni, if you are still there on the call, MSc Finance is a very good program. Okay, but it's very theoretical. So I would say that you dovetail it with something like our financial market architecture program and bring all the practical aspects on the table and start understanding practical aspects. Okay, if you don't understand practical aspects, however much theory you know will not help you. Okay, if you, for example, know bond pricing in a lot of detail and quant mathematics in a lot of details, but you don't know how bond transactions are settled and how risks are managed and how transaction flow happens and how state through processing in bonds happen, you are not going to get a, perhaps you land a job, but not something you want, or you won't be able to scale up in that. Do data science and Python course help in financial career? Yes, it does. Okay, Python course will certainly help you. Data science will help you if you understand the processes as well. Other than that, only a data scientist, you won't be able to add value. See, one very important thing you have to understand. The value of data is one thing. To be able to apply it in a successful use case is quite another. Okay, so if you take your knowledge of data science and apply it in the way, for example, mortgage pricing is done, or in the way in which price is quoted, okay, or in a way which price is negotiated, then you are adding real value. Okay, the real value does not come from knowing data science. The real value comes from knowing its application. Okay, so while these are good, you need to know the applications very well. Okay, only then your career, you can have a satisfactory career. Okay, Sarvesh has asked, can you please suggest some good books? Okay, Sarvesh, I'll be happy to send some good books. Please connect with me offline. In fact, we also have few groups also. So if you are interested in joining one of these groups, please write your name and number. I will put you in groups as well. Okay, is certified technical analyst course a good option? Yes, it's a good option. Technical analysis is good to know, but you need to know many things beyond technical analysis. Okay, which organization we have opportunity as an investment banker? Investment banking companies are very less. Okay, these days a lot of boutique investment banking firms have come, but anyways the job opportunities are very less. Okay, is 5A NISM good course? I don't know which is 5A course. If it is the mutual fund distribution program, yes, it is the mutual fund distribution program. It is an okay program, but according to me, mutual fund distribution is not something that you should be completely satisfied with. Okay, simply because if you only know mutual fund distribution and, for example, don't know equities and don't know derivatives, there is very little that you can add value to your client. Okay, so if you have done your MBA in finance, you should know about all the instruments and about all possible ways in which you can help your client. Okay, then may I know the fees for these courses? Gaurav has asked. Gaurav, we charge 5,000 rupees for a month, and most of these courses we try to complete in a month. Okay, we don't try to pull long. Okay, some programs, for example, the technical analysis program, we have an L1 and L2. Okay, but we try to give most important principles in the L1 itself, so that you can engage with us for 1 month and then disengage. Okay, even the financial market architecture program, we have designed it brilliantly. We have an L1 program that caters to all the things, and L2 program that caters to MIFID, etc., and advanced aspects, which you only need if you want to have a global career. Okay, if you want to work in India, then L1 program is enough, and for that you pay 5,000 rupees. Okay, which according to me is very, very less. Believe me, this program itself has the capability to scale up as an MBA program, which we will do in future. Okay, in 1 or 2 years down the line, we'll offer this as a complete 1-year MBA program. Okay, but this is just the start, and according to me, this is very, very important, which no institute is offering. Okay, and you know why these institutes are not offering? Because they don't get teachers. Okay, there is no one person who can teach you about exchanges, about clearing corporations, about brokerages, about dealing room, okay, about depository participant, etc. You need to have the kind of top-down skill and exposure that we have had as creators of these institutions. Okay, Aditi has asked, sir, I'm BSc Finance IT student at NMIMS, so many queries. So if you have a lot of queries, perhaps you can request a counseling session. Okay, I'll be happy to answer your questions one-on-one. Okay. What are the job opportunities for technical analysts? Technical analysts, again, you start with a salary of about 22,000 rupees. Okay, my only contention is don't just pitch for technical analysis. Have a very rounded understanding of markets. Okay, Gaurav, I have your number. Okay, thanks. I'll connect with you. Maybe you can also connect with me. There are 30 new messages. My God. 1 minute. Is there any exam at the end of the course? I don't ask for exam. Okay, but I do ask you to prepare a lot of presentations and material and deliver to us. Okay, in the form of presentations, you need to present to us. Okay. What is good NISM course for MBA to start with? Something on mutual fund distribution side is a okay course. Do a course on derivatives NISM. But if you really want a good program on derivatives, come to us. Okay. You will perhaps end up spending the same kind of money, but the kind of international program that we can give you, nobody else can give you. I want to go into fintech sector. Fintech, as I said, is a derived skill. Okay, you can focus on the primary skills and then get into fintech. Okay, any other questions anybody has? I think I have taken all the questions. Please raise your hand if you have questions in the chat box. Okay, Pinkesh, I'm allowing you to talk. Pinkesh, please talk.
Hello, sir. Am I audible to you?
Yes, you are.
Good evening, sir. So I have a question that I am an IT engineer and I have also done MBA in operations. I completed my course and I've cleared everything. But I'm currently confused as due to some of the problems in the environment and the society. I'm not able to go for an interview. But in online, I am giving all the interviews to different industries. But in financial markets or trading markets, what kind of job is actually suitable as per my qualifications that I'm having with me? I mean, I'm an IT engineer and also completed my operations, and also I have done certifications in some of the technical courses. Like I'm very much familiar with database problems.
Pinkesh, there are 2-3 roles that you can play. Okay, first is that of business analyst in any of these financial institutions or brokerage house, or a buy-side institution on the technology side. Okay, so these institutions make very heavy investments. Okay, Dr. Rajendra has thanked me. Dr. Rajan, thank you very much for all the collaboration and getting Akemi students. I'll be happy to take a separate session for your college Anybody who wants a separate session, please get in touch with me. Pinkesh, coming back to your question, okay, these companies invest a lot in technology and they need hundreds and thousands of people to help them on technology side. Okay, so business analyst is one role that you can look for. The second is obviously on the sell side, on the operation side. Okay, but with tech knowledge, you can have good career if you understand the operation side and the sell side and the process side well. Okay, you
But
can
also one of the companies has offered me a job in data analyst, and they are having a job. I mean, an interview for me this Wednesday. So for data analyst, as you said.
Okay, so it's good. I mean, all the best.
Thank you,
What
sir.
company is that? What kind of company?
Sir, it's ISS.
Okay, good.
Thank you, sir.
If you want one-on-one counseling, just connect with me.
All right.
Okay, anyone else has a question? Please raise your hand. Please add me in various groups after this session. I have sent my details. Okay, anybody who wants to join our WhatsApp group and is not already there, please give your number as well. I'll add you. Anyone else has any question, please raise your hand, else we'll finish this session. Okay, I see no questions. So thank you very much. Ananya, I think you have connected with me. Otherwise also, I'll take you through a counseling session, then we will decide. Okay, I am keeping this chat window. What is the fees for Algo Bootcamp? It is 99 rupees. Rutuja, 99 rupees anybody can pay for 4 sessions. Okay, we normally charge 2,500 rupees when we do this with buy-side institutions. Okay, there also we keep the fees very low simply because we don't want, we only want serious people to come. Okay, and it's going to be a very interesting program. If you want to have a career on the buy side, then you cannot do without this trading and Algo Bootcamp. Okay, it's only 99 rupees. Please join. Gaurav, thank you very much for attending and thanking me. Okay. Okay, bye guys. Let's close this call now. Thank you very much. Have a nice Sunday evening. Bye-bye. Thank you for thanking me, Ujjwal, Vinay, Pooja, Rutuja, Nutan, Rajshri. Rajan sir, yes, I will give you the recording. Simran, thank you very much. Sapna Jaswal, thank you very much. Yatanveer, thanks for attending. Okay, I'm ending this call now, guys.